The purpose of this video is going to be to discuss the class policies, go over Canvas and the things that are available to you in our course on Canvas, and then to talk about the current event and what's expected of that. These are things that we normally would have discussed the first day of class. So if you look at the screen, you'll notice that I am on or in our class on Canvas or in a Chem 1010 class. And I'm in student view, so I'm seeing right now the same thing that you would be seeing. Canvas is set up in this course in modules. So the home page, if you click on home, it's going to look just like this. The home page is modules. And not all of the modules are open because I will open up more as the course goes on. But there are a couple. Important information. The next module is current events. Then we get into the content of the course. So Unit 1 is Introduction and Measurement. Unit 2 is Atomic Structure. And there are actually 10 content units, but only the first 2 are open right now. So I want to call your attention to the important information. So this is the first day of class video. This is what you're watching right now. Everything that I'm going over today can be found in this general class information sheet. So if you click on it, you'll see everything that we're going to discuss today is going to be in there. Now I'm not going to go through that word for word, but you are more than welcome to read through it, and later on you're going to have a quiz, and so if you have this in front of you while you're taking the quiz, that will definitely help you. But everything that we're doing in this video is pretty much in this information sheet. So I want to go back to the modules now. The first thing is the syllabus. So I'm going to click on the syllabus, and our syllabus looks like this. So let's go in on the syllabus. This is my name. I am Connie Davis. I've been teaching here at Terra for over 20 years. My office is in Building E, room 215, office B. 215 is a big suite of a lot of offices. There probably are 15 offices, and I am in office B. This is my office phone number and my Terra email. Now, if I'm not in my office, I won't get the phone call. I will return messages. However, the best way to get a hold of me, especially in a semester like this, is to email me. And I check my email frequently throughout the day, and I'm usually very prompt at responding to emails. So then there's a course description, prerequisites. Notice that there is a co-requisite for this course, and that is enrollment in Chem 1015. Chem 1015 is the lab, and you should be enrolled in the lab unless you have taken it in a previous semester and already passed. If you have not taken it already and you're not enrolled, please contact me right away so that we can figure out how to get you into a lab. Lab is definitely helpful for this class. Notice that there are 2 textbooks. We're going to go over those in more detail in a little bit, but those are both free online open source textbooks. So I will show you how to access them later on in the video. And then you're going to need a calculator, just a basic one, but it should be capable of scientific notation and logarithms. It does not have to be a graphing calculator. So you don't need an expensive calculator. The one that I use for the class, I think I got for under $10 at anywhere like a Walmart, Target, Meijer, Kroger, anywhere that sells scientific calculators. And then pay close attention to the grading scale, which comes next. So really 80 or 90 to 100 is an A. But the way that Canvas is set up is that if you get above an 89.55, so you get at least an 89.56, it will round you up to that 90% and you'll get an A. Now, if you get an 89.55, that's a B. Same thing with if you get a 79.56 or above, it's going to round you up to a B. If you get a 79.55 or below, that's a C. So the only one it doesn't round at is the D. You need at least a 60% to earn a grade of D. Now, these are the assignments and their values. Quizzes and homework will be worth 25% of your grade. Current events is 5% of your grade. Tests are the big one. Tests are 50% of your grade. So you really want to make sure that you study for the tests, because they make up the biggest portion of your grade. And then the final exam, since this is a science class, that's pretty standard. 20% is what your final exam is worth. So between your 4 tests and the final exam, that's 70% of your grade. Then the next thing are the course learning outcomes. You can read through those on your own. And then there is a plan of work, with the session being when we are in class. So today we're going over the syllabus and an introduction. And then in the next video that you'll watch, we will go over measurement. So it goes, there's usually 2 sessions in a week. I didn't include any dates because sometimes that changes due to holidays and things. There is some leeway built in where I've included 2 full days for review, and we may not need both of those. So if we have any type of snow day or other weather delay or anything else happens, we've got a couple of extra days at the end of the semester to make up for that. So now I'm going to go back out of the syllabus and back to the important information tab. So the next thing that I want to go over are your textbooks. And there are 2 textbooks, and I've labeled them Textbook A and Textbook B. Textbook A is the primary textbook. So if you click on it, it is called Introductory Chemistry. This is the table of contents. If you click on something, it will take you to the chapter. It's a pretty decent book. There's not a lot of bells and whistles, but it does a pretty good job of explaining the information. And then once you read through a section, like section 1.1 is basic definitions, and you get to the end of the section, it'll list some key takeaways and then some practice exercises. And we'll go through this, but I've included a list of readings and practice exercises, and these are things that you should try to make sure that you understand what you've just read or what we've just gone over in class. The book is meant to supplement what we're going over in class. But sometimes I feel like because this book is online, when we get going in the class, students kind of forget that we have a book. So please make sure that you remember we have a book, and make sure you use the book if you have questions that aren't answered in class or that you aren't answered by me. The nice thing about these problems is that then the answers are listed right after them for the odd numbers. And generally, if I assign homework from the book, it's going to be odd numbers so that you can check your answer prior to finishing the homework. All right, so that is the first book. And let me go through, click off of that. That's Textbook A. The next book is called Textbook B on Canvas, so I'm going to click on that. And this is a book called Chemistry Online. Now, this is a really good book. The only problem is students found that it was kind of hard to read, and I'll show you why. Because when you click on textbook and you click on a chapter, this is what comes up, and it doesn't matter if you try to maximize it. It doesn't really make it that much bigger. So maximizing it is not going to make it any bigger. and so students complained that it was hard to read. So that's why this is now textbook B, and we use the other book primarily. But it's got a lot of great study materials. So there's the book, and then there are these things called tutorials. So let's say we're doing something in class and you really don't understand what to do. And so let's say we'll go to simple metric conversions. This is like a game where problems will come up. And the nice thing is it gives you immediate feedback. So let me put in an answer that I know is incorrect. I'm going to say 2.09 times 10 to the third milligrams is 209 grams. Okay, that's not correct. So then I can try it again, or I can click Show Answer, and it will show me where the answer is. Sometimes it will also show me, I can go to a new problem. Again, if I get it right, then it'll tell me that it is correct. So that's a good thing, and there are tutorials for most of the topics that we will be covering. Sometimes in the tutorials, if you do something, it will also take you to the section in the book. So let's say I've got I want a new problem. I'm going to put that lithium has 2 protons, 2 electrons, and I know these are going to be wrong. All right, so I can click Show the Answer, and again, it will also take me to the section. In some of the problems, it'll take me to the section in the book where this is explained. The other thing that's kind of nice is that there are these micro tutorials. And these aren't actually games that you can play, but these are problems that you can solve. But these are little videos that you can watch. And they're pretty short videos. Like this one is Welcome to Chemistry Online. 7 minutes. So again, if you need another explanation, this is a place to get that. So this is a good book. We used to use this one, but students complained about the text size. So now we use 2 books. So again, do not forget as we're going through the semester that we do have books for this class. Now if you want to follow along in the books, these are the homework and reading assignments for the class. All right, and it goes by unit. So in Unit 1, we're covering Introduction and Measurement. So this is what you would be reading from Unit 1, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. And then these would be the suggested exercises. So in Section 1.1, suggested exercises 1, 3, 5, and 9. And what I've done is gone through all of the units. So this is your reading and homework for the entire semester. And then all of these reading and homework problems are from Textbook A, unless otherwise noted. So for instance, here it says to read this section from Textbook B. But if it doesn't say anything, just lists the chapter, that means it's Textbook A. Now, these are suggested exercises. So these are problems that you should attempt, but they are not mandatory. So I will not collect any of these suggested exercises. But a good way to think of chemistry or any subject that you're trying to learn, especially when it's a mathematical subject, is to think of it as a sport. And when you're playing a sport, you get better by practicing. So if you think of chemistry as a type of sport, you're going to get better the more that you practice. So we will do examples of problems that I will work through step by step in class. And then I will give you quizzes, and those will also be take home, and you can work through those. But for some people, seeing it once in class and once on a quiz isn't enough practice. So I've identified all of these problems that you can do if you feel like you need extra practice. And again, this is for the entire semester. Oops. Let me go back to home. So we're back on the home page. There's also a tab entitled Resources, which are links to some sites that I think are good videos that will offer you an extra explanation of things. Also a link to the library. And then in this important information unit, there are 2 assignments. You have an introduction and syllabus quiz, which is going to ask you questions about this video as well as the general class information that you should look through and read. And then there is an assignment from Unit 1, mainly because I want you to learn how to access the book and use the book at least once. And then if you become comfortable with it or you have any questions about how to use the book, you can ask me before we get too far into the semester. Your assignments will come up at the top, usually along the side, unless you are in a mobile view, and then sometimes they'll be at the bottom. But notice these are the assignments that are due for the semester. Most of your assignments, these are all ones that you have to submit in Canvas. Most of your assignments you will not be submitting in Canvas. Most of them you will be handing in to me in class. Now, before we go through the current event, let's just go through what a module looks like. So this is the introduction and measurement. This will be the first unit, the first topic that we cover in class. So there is a PowerPoint, which we'll go over in class. There's a PowerPoint narration video, which you'll have to watch in a different assignment. There is an outline that has some sample problems with it, and then there is a quiz. So I'm going to click on the quiz. I'll be giving you a copy of this quiz in class, but all of the quizzes will be posted on Canvas. All of the quizzes are open notes and take home. So all these quizzes are already posted. There's a quiz for Unit 2 already posted. Once I open up a module, the quizzes will be posted. So you'll have plenty of time to work on the quizzes. Because they're take home and all open notes, you should do pretty well on the quizzes. The thing I want to caution you about, though, is looking up the answers on the quiz online. You should be able to answer the questions on the quiz using your notes and by what you have learned in class. If you look up everything up, it might help you to get a decent grade on the quiz, but quizzes are only 25% of your grade. Tests are 50% of your grade. You're not going to be able to look up things on the tests. So make sure that you are understanding what you're doing when you're doing the quizzes. I also encourage you to work with other people. Form a study group. Once we start meeting in person, it'll be easier to get to know other people in the class, or you maybe already know someone that you've had a previous class with. By all means, I think it's helpful a lot of times if you study with other people. But that doesn't mean I want one person to do the quiz and then everybody else writes down the answers. If I notice that happening, if I notice 2 people or 3 people turn in the quiz and they're all identical word for word, then everyone will get a grade of 0 on the quiz. You can work with other people, but the work that you submit should still be your own. So the last thing that I want to go through in this video are your current events. Current events are meant to relate chemistry to your everyday life, or at least try to relate science to your everyday life. And I try to do that in class, but I'm going to have you do that in a couple of assignments as well. Now, these assignments are worth 5% of your overall grade. Generally, you'll get a grade just for doing them. The only way that the current events will hurt your grade is if you don't do them. So if you click on current events assignments, it explains what the two current events are. So the first one is a general reading assignment. So what you're going to do is you're going to find an article and you're going to read it. And it can relate to any branch of science. It doesn't have to be chemistry. It could be biology. It could be nursing. It could be astronomy. It could be environmental science, really anything you want. The only criteria, there are a couple of them. One, it has to be written within the last year. You can use a variety of sources, so journal articles, magazine articles. There are a lot of science-based websites that have articles every day. You want to make sure that you don't use advertisements, blogs, or product websites. And I mention that because I have gotten articles from all of those things before. And so make sure that you do not use those types of sites. And then it's really easy. You're going to write a 1 to 2 paragraph summary of the article, followed by a 1 to 2 paragraph opinion of the topic of the article. Not of the article itself. So let's say you read an article on climate change and you don't like the article. You think it was poorly written. That's not what you should write for your opinion. I don't want an opinion that says I hated this article. I don't know how the author learned how to be a writer. No, if you don't like the article, choose a different one. If you read an article on climate change, then I want to know what your opinion of climate change is, or what your opinion of the discovery that you're reading about is. Now, it may differ from my opinion, and that's okay. That's why you get credit just for doing this. Now, so the minimum of your current events assignment will be 1 paragraph for the summary and 1 paragraph for the opinion. That's 2. Or the maximum will be 4 paragraphs, 2 for each. You also need to turn in the article itself if you choose a magazine or newspaper article, or a link to the website. If I don't get the article or a link to the article, you won't get credit for the assignment. This first current event is due by 11:59 p.m. on February 19th. So if you want to get this current event article done today and turn it in, you can do that anytime before February 19th or on or before February 19th. So where do you turn it in? Let's go back to the modules. It says CE1. This is a drop box. I'm going to click Submit Assignment, and I will upload my file. So you can do it as a Word document. I can open up Google Docs. Word documents, PDFs, those are the things that are easiest for me to open. So that you just upload that again anytime on or before 11:59 p.m. on February 19th. Now, the second current events assignment is an endangered element assignment. So this is assignment 2. 2019 was the 175th anniversary of the discovery or the first periodic table and the development of the first periodic table. And to celebrate, the United Nations designated it as the International Year of the Periodic Table. Well, we tend to take elements and things for granted. And just like there can be endangered species of plants and animals, there can also be things that are known as endangered elements. So you're going to click on this periodic table, and it's going to take you to a site that's going to show you the elements that are at risk of running out in the next 100 or so or less years. So you'll need to pick one of these highlighted elements to do your current event on. And when you choose the element, there's going to be a drop box for your element choice. Your element choice is due by March 5th. Okay, the element choice is due March 5th. And then once I approve your element, you can start your discussion post. The discussion post is due March 26th. So let's go back to the again, the current events module. So endangered element choice is another drop box. Again, I'm going to choose my element, and I'm going to say my element is silver. And then I will submit that. You'll get a comment from me that'll say either I approve silver or silver has already been taken, choose something else. And this submission is worth 5 points. And then if I say choose something else, you can resubmit the assignment. Do not begin your current events discussion until I approve your element. And the reason I need to approve it is that everyone in the class will have to choose a different element. Then once I've approved your element, this assignment's going to be done as a discussion. And the discussion is actually locked until February 1st, but we can still see what it's going to look like by going back to the assignments. So in the discussion, you're going to answer these questions. Where is the element found? What are its uses, etc. And then you're going to read the posts of at least 4 other students and reply to them. And by reply, I mean write a couple of sentences, not just wow or that I didn't know that. You know, write something that lets me know that you've read that person's post. Because that way, not only are you learning something about your element, but you're learning something about 4 other elements as well. So this current event's not due till March 26th, and then your replies are due on April 2nd. So that is the current events. Those are the current events assignments. And again, these 2 assignments make up 5% of your overall grade. The only way that they will hurt your grade is if you do not do them. So we've gone over quite a few things in this video, but hopefully you have a good idea of what kinds of things are available to you in Canvas in our course. And I post a lot of things on Canvas. Each of these modules will have at least 3 or 4 things posted in them, so that if you miss class or you you want to read an outline or look at the PowerPoint again, it's going to be there for you. Now, if you have any questions at all on anything we just went over, please send me an email. Again, that's the best way to get a hold of me. I would read through this general class information. We went through, I believe, mostly everything in class or in this video. And then you'll be ready to take your introduction and syllabus quiz. And you can do that by clicking on this link or by clicking right here, and it will take you to the quiz. And right now it says it's locked because I'm filming this before the semester starts. So I look forward to eventually meeting all of you in class. And again, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to send me an email.